Hey guys, it is Lauren and Mark, and welcome to today's episode number 3 of my Road to the WBFF Worlds series. Now I am currently 8 weeks out, and we thought we'd do this one together. Going to be going over my diet and my training and where I'm at, and then also taking you through one of my upper body workouts later on. So this week I am currently on 1900 calories, so no changes to my diet this week. So no changes.
Okay, so we began with Lauren on 1900 calories after 2 weeks. She's still on 1900 calories. I assessed where she was at today, and I've decided to keep Lauren at 1900 calories. Generally, the reason why you make changes is if you're not seeing progression or not fast enough progression. Lauren always has very crazy expectations where she expects to be shredded after a week. So the art of coaching and her actually having someone telling her what to do is important, because I also hold her back from making unnecessary calorie changes.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, like when it comes to your nutrition, and I think when you start to diet, you want instant progress and to see instant results. Like we wake up like, are we shredded yet? But in reality, it does take time. This week, I actually have my period and I'm feeling a lot more bloated and a lot more watery. So like, even though I am waking up and I'm constantly now looking if I'm getting leaner and leaner, I do this week feel a little bit discouraged, maybe, if that makes sense, because of that looking a little bit watery.
Yeah, so I think it's important to understand for females, like obviously I prep a lot of women these days. Training females with their menstrual cycle, it can often be a bit complicated with assessing progress. For Lauren, she's a person who, when she gets a period, she really gets
freaks out.
She freaks out. She does generally become a bit more inflamed or bloated, and it can, what we were talking about before, is mask her progression. So basically, the last few days, even though Lauren's doing all the right things, she's hitting her calories, she's hitting her steps, smashing her sessions as always, visually she's not seeing probably as much progression as she would like. But the thing is, it's actually there, it's just the period can mask.
Yeah, I think that's like everything, like when girls are like, oh my god, I'm so bloated, and I look at this, I'm so watery, I'm bloated, and then they think that all of a sudden, like, bloating and being watery is not fat gain. Like, I think that's a really important thing to remember.
Yeah, so generally, again, you generally get bloated around the stomach and things like that, but there's other places you can obviously assess progress. For Lauren, she seems to lose body fat or more around her sides, her hips, her upper back. And the reason why I haven't made changes, even though on the scale she actually hasn't really changed.
I think my scale's gone up.
Yeah, so the scale has kind of gone up. But this is the thing, again, why it's important to have a coach is your job as a coach is to take quite an objective look at things and not get too obsessed with things like the scale. So when I look at Lauren, I'm able to see that physically she has got leaner, and when she actually is not so hard on herself, she can see herself that she has got leaner. So we have got the progress. So that's why it's important not to be married to the scale, especially as a female.
That's what I tell all of my clients and all the girls that check in, like, to look at other things like outside, like with the other small wins and other signs of progress that you're making during the week, like strength and everything. Like, I'm still feeling so strong and making those increases in the gym, but just because I don't feel that great.
Yeah, but I think as well it's important to look at things logically. So for Lauren, she's like, oh, the scales are up. Oh, maybe I've put weight. And no, again, we're in a calorie deficit. We know we're in a calorie deficit for Lauren. She's doing her training, she's doing her steps, she's hitting her macros perfectly as always. It's basically physically impossible, and she also has her period. So all the fact she's doing everything right, and she's also got her period, which is going to increase the scale. So this is why, again, it's important to look at things logically and not be
be patient and not be crazy.
Yeah, not be a crazy comp prep girl where you think the world's over. So just look at things logically, and when we do assess those things, we can see that Lauren is in fact progressing well. And a lot of people, they expect changes too quickly, and then they unnecessarily take calories away too quickly. So for Lauren, my big thing is obviously I want her to lose on as many calories as possible. So we're keeping her here because now, even though she's got a period, I know next couple of days when her period ends, she's gonna
be shredded.
She will lose that water weight, and within 2-3 days, she's gonna be looking a whole lot better and probably 1 to 2 kilos down the scale, which is why it's important to keep her here. And that's why, again, as a coach, it's important to look at the forward into the future and predict these things without unnecessarily taking calories away for your client.
So you guys always ask me a lot about my macros and what my current split is. So at the moment my protein is at 150, my fats are at 60 grams, and my carbs are at 200. Now 200 is probably a moderate carb. I feel pretty good eating carbs. I do like having carbs like around my workouts, in particular in the mornings. Obviously we know that calories are king, so that is the most important factor that we're looking at. And as I said before, my calories are at 1900, and then obviously like your protein is the next most important, and then whether fats or carbs, then I guess it's up to you with what you want to go with. For me, so I'm at 200 carbs, and that is just what I feel good at the moment.
Yeah, so Lauren's basically using what we call a moderate carb approach. So moderate carbs is normally about 30 to 40% of your total calories from carbohydrates. So she's around more about the 40% mark. For me, with a lot of my girls, I like giving them as many carbohydrates as possible. So we've gone almost about 1 gram of fat per kilogram of body weight. We set protein, so protein is always the number one macronutrient you want to set. Lauren generally likes eating a lot of protein.
Yeah, I find it really easy to hit my protein macro, and I find it really hard to hit carbs actually.
So with protein, we always go on the higher end, which is for Lauren about 2.5 grams per kilogram of body weight. So I think she's at 150. And then what happens is the rest of those calories we push to carbohydrates. So for Lauren, we will generally keep carbs as high as possible. Obviously, eventually we're going to take calories away, and we'll probably get into that in the future, what we're going to do when we do make changes. But for now, moderate carb for Lauren. Why? She performs well, she trains hard. From a hunger point of view, she seems pretty good.
Carbs keep me feeling full for longer. I've always sort of been someone that eats a lot more carbs and fats. I just prefer it.
Yeah,
personal preference.
Again, so that's I guess the big thing is always getting questions for Lauren about her macros and my other clients. When it comes down to macros, again, it should be quite personal what works best for you. So even though Lauren's doing 1900, doesn't mean her macros are best for you. Right now, they're optimal for what Lauren does.
Exactly. So, and I think that's important, just because I'm sharing everything that I'm doing here when it comes to my macros, my calories. Like, you could follow the exact same thing that I am doing weekly, and you are not going to get the same result or anything like that, because it's all such a personal thing.
Yeah, so I guess the big takeaway from this is find the macro breakdown that works for you. For Lauren, she's very, very experienced. Obviously, I help her with her nutrition. If I wasn't helping with her nutrition now, she'd probably be doing exactly the same. She's a smart girl, so she knows what she's doing now. So we're very much in sync with what we want to do with our changes and calories, which makes life easy, especially when you date your client. But again, the main thing is find what works for you, but hit that calorie target, hit that protein target, and then carbs and fats can be interchangeable.
Okay, so to training, I am currently training 6 days per week weights, and I have 1 complete rest day. I am doing 3 lower body days and 3 upper body days. Now my lower body split is focused around, I do like a heavy squat day, a heavy sumo deadlift day, and I'm also doing a heavy hip thrust day. And then with my upper body, we're more so just focusing on shoulders and back together. And I am training abs 3 times a week as well. My training probably is pretty similar to last prep in what we're doing.
Yeah, I think really the training's been pretty similar for the last year or so. Obviously we did the powerlifting last year.
For those that don't know, before my last year's world prep, I actually did a powerlifting meet. So in the lead up to that show,
8 weeks out.
at 8 weeks out, I did my powerlifting meet. So I was doing like a lot of strength training, and then we had to transition from that to getting my body ready for Bikini Diva. So this year we're not doing powerlifting, so just being focused more around like really refining my physique for the bikini category.
Yeah, well, obviously with Lauren being world champion, she's doing something all right with her physique, which won last year. So there's no real need to, I guess, drift away from what's been working, what we've done. We just want to actually just keep making things a little bit better.
Yeah.
For Lauren, she's got a lot of muscle naturally for a bikini girl, so we don't actually need more muscle. We just want to keep her muscle in this prep. When she starts obviously being in calorie deficit, muscle preservation is the main goal, particularly on her lower body, her glutes and things like that. But in saying that, you still want to have that objective to and mindset of you're trying to get stronger and build muscle. For Lauren, at the moment, I guess you could say we're, from a volume point of view, we're attacking glutes and quads. They're the two areas I think we do want to put a little bit of muscle on.
Yeah, exactly. I'm very hamstring dominant, so that's why like we have, even like in my off season, always been focusing a lot on doing a lot of volume with my quads, and I think I have seen some good progress with them, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, so I think Lauren always, last few years, done a lot more strength work purely for her quads, where I've kind of incorporated more of a high rep bodybuilding kind of focus on her quads.
Such a bro.
I'm bro, yeah. And then for her glutes, again, these last year or so, we've really done a whole lot of hip thrusts, a whole lot of different glute variations.
Heaps of variations, and played around with a lot of different exercises to find what works, a lot of different rep ranges, tempos, and...
Yeah, so I think this year, you'll see Lauren with a even better physique. The goal really is probably just to be that tiny bit tighter on stage this year, and have a little bit more, a tiny bit more muscle in the right places. When we're talking right places, we're talking
like lower body. I definitely don't need to build any more upper body, so that's why like now we're just really trying to just maintain, like obviously do have pretty jacked shoulders for a bikini girl.
I wish I had shoulders like that.
So yeah, definitely just trying to maintain upper body size at the moment, and then still work on my lower body and come in a little bit leaner this year. Who else drinks this out of it? The Harry Potter mug.
I don't drink an Harry Potter mug. Alright, good. So pull with your lats and then shoulder blades back. Control, don't throw. There we go. Lats. Good, and then squeeze shoulder blades together at the end. It's good. Round your abs. Good, and then shoulder blades back at the end. Pull them back, scap. Good. Good, control the eccentric. Scap, let's go. Take it out to the sides. Good. Not too far out. There, good.
Just like any other muscle, if you want them to grow, you need to be hitting them, and frequently. Now obviously you're not going to be able to see your abs if they are covered by fat, so the key to getting abs isn't actually training them, it is all your nutrition. But I'm talking about abs.
Abs. Good trains abs.
Show abs. But the key really is your nutrition. If you are not lean enough, you're not going to be able to see them. But for me, genetically, I don't have very thick abs. So that's why I am training them now. I'm training them weighted because I do want to build up the actual muscle mass, the muscle size of my abs. And then so when I do get lean, I'll be able to see them better. I'm on prep, but this one's post-workout. Donut.
Delicious.
So mean.
Again, guys, thank you for watching today's YouTube video. I hope that you enjoyed it and you learned something. And please, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit subscribe. But I'll see you on next week's episode.